Hello everyone. So I'm going to be doing this video discussion by myself because group members, I think everyone has conflicting schedules or stuff like that. So have you experienced working with leaders who use different leadership styles in a situation of full range leadership models? Well, situational leadership basically has four main themes, which include delegating, supporting, coaching, and directing. I have had people that have tried to use the situational leadership approach when dealing with me. I I've had people that have counseled me. I've had people that have given me advice in a coaching kind of style, kind of like a parent. Maybe when a parent is trying to talk to you. When I was younger, then during my mid teenage years, and now as a young adult, the way my parents dealt with me when I was younger is not the same way my parents deal with me now that I'm old. And I would look at that as a situational leadership approach because they're looking at the situation. I'm just trying to like give an example based on my personal experience on leadership and how I can explain it to fill my personal the way I understand situational leadership personally. So as you get older, your parents start delegating certain activities and responsibilities. Like they expect you to be able to do certain things. When you were younger, they were basically doing most of the things for you. Like when you're a young kid, you can't really take care of yourself. But as you start getting older, they realize that okay, now this is now a mature person, and how can we be able to like support them without having to micromanage them? So that's the best way I would talk about a situation leadership approach. And then the full range leadership models includes transformational, transactional, and laissez-faire. I have worked with people that use both transformational and transactional. Transactional, I'll talk about it in form of like a job where your boss is expecting a certain output, and if you're able to meet the deadline, or if you're able to like bring in a certain amount of revenue to the company, you're going to get like a bonus or you're going to get some perks that are going to be awarded to you. But yeah, I think those two examples can fill that question up. Have you personally used different styles of leadership? Well, I've never really had many opportunities to be in a leadership position, but if I was to be a leader, I would definitely use a transformative leadership style, because with transformative leadership, you're kind of like building on your followers. You're not looking at them as just people that you have to lead, but you want to build your followers. You want them to become better. So you're not leading just because you have a goal or something, but you actually want to build the people that follow you. You want them to grow. You want them to develop, and you actually want them to be leaders one day. So that's I think I would be a transformative leader. I would fall more into that. Um, so do you see parallels between the Bible verses? So yeah, I think there's gonna be some parallels in the Bible verses. Just give me a second. Let me scroll down. So Mark chapter 9, John 13, Philippians chapter 2 deal with leading in form of servant leadership, as was shown by Dr. Rome in one of the class videos. So Mark 9, John 13, and Philippians 2 all deal with servant leadership. And then First Corinthians chapter 9 has to do with situational um, leadership, as Paul tries to put himself in all different categories of people, and now he has had to be just like them in order to win them over to Christ. So now the four I's are idealized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and individualized consideration. So for individualized consideration, we're looking at John 13. It just basically shows us the element of empathy when Jesus gets up to wash his disciples' feet, even though he was their master. So this kind of like draws back into servant leadership, and also I'd say a little bit of transformational leadership, because Jesus is kind of like trying to show his disciples that if you want to be a leader, you have to be a servant first, which means you have to actually go down to a level where you show your followers that you're willing to sacrifice for them. That's just how I would see individualized consideration. Like Jesus is actually considering his disciples like they were one of him. And when just a kind act of washing your disciples' feet shows that you don't see yourself as, although Jesus was a leader, although he was the Son of God, he tried to bring himself down to the level of humanity. And then intellectual stimulation helps team members think outside the box and challenge the status quo. And this is basically doing things outside the norm, not doing things inside the box. And this is in, I think, in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, where Paul had to intellectually stimulate the believers by telling them that he is free, but belongs to no one. And he's had to make himself like everybody else to win people over to Christ. So when you think about that scripture, it kind of like, I see that as intellectual stimulation. I'm not saying this is all right, but this is just my view. And then inspirational motivation comes from Mark chapter 9, where leadership is taught from an angle serving others first and motivating people to try and pursue something higher and bigger, like pursuing a higher purpose, not only just settling for less. You got to pursue something bigger than yourself, basically. And then idealized influences in Philippians chapter 2, where Paul tries to tell the believers to try and be more like Christ by adhering to the principles and mindset. So Paul is trying to use Christ consciousness to influence believers to be more Christ-like and respect one another, which builds on trust and integrity. So being a transformational leader, as I aspire to be, can help the people that follow my leadership become more active and engaged. Now, Daniel Pink talks about the candle problem and how science and business are not agreeing with one another. He basically tries to say that, let me see this. There's a problem. Daniel Pink talks about the candle problem and how there is a mismatch between what science knows and what business does. So what most businesses do to try and motivate their employees is like they want to pay them higher, they want to pay them more. But then you realize at a certain point, paying people more does not mean more output. If someone is on a job just for the money and they're just doing it for the money, there's no way that you're going to incentivize them to do better because they're just doing it for the money, compared to someone that actually does the job because they love the job. When you compare those two people, the person that does the job because they actually love the job, or someone that does something because they actually want to do it, they actually want to make a change, they're doing it for a cause, compared to someone that's doing it for money. The person that's doing it for money is not going to be able to have as much output as the person that's doing it because they actually want to do it. And the best example was seen from the Wright brothers. There was an example given about some guy in some government guy, some dude that was being funded by the government. I forgot his name. And the Wright brothers. So the Wright brothers, no one really knew about the Wright brothers, but they made it their daily, weekly objective to try and make sure that they fly. And they were using their own money. They had no publicity. They had no funding. They had no government backing. They had no media backing, but they were able to actually make flight in what we know today. So when you see all these planes flying right now, actually there was a time that I was standing outside and I was looking at a plane flying. I was like, wow, how can a plane carry like 200 to 300 people in the air with cargo and everything, and it's just moving like. And then I thought about the Wright brothers, and I was like, yeah, if those guys had not, been innovative and, sacrificed all their time and their resources and their money, we would not have that kind of innovation. Like looking at a plane flying in the sky, it's all science, it's all physics. I mean, it's crazy. So I think really when we're doing something, we have to do it out of passion, because you never know, maybe 200-300 years down the road, the invention or the innovation that you have come up with to like solve a problem might actually help solve multiple problems. Just coming up with the idea of flight, And the fact that now you can move from here to Miami or from here to Australia, from here to London, and in like 3, 6 hours, 8 hours, you know, I mean, flight changed everything. It cut distance, it cut time, and it also made trade much more, you know, easier. So I just wanted to give that example. And then Simon Sinek talks about, yeah, that was Simon Sinek talking about aviation. So in anything that we do, let it be business, let it be life, let it be relationships, money is important. But the one thing that you have to know about money is that it is about the money, but it's not always about the money. If we're always going to be doing things being motivated by money, then it's not gonna help, because someone that always takes money is also someone that can be compromised. You know, if you're someone that has values and you value certain things and you're only doing things for money, it's just like if you work maybe with if you work with like a government um, agency, like let's say intelligence, and you're being paid a major salary. It doesn't mean that what you're doing doesn't matter. But if you're thinking about the money, then it might be easier for another country to pay you to sell, uh, you know, some of the spy secrets, because it's like you're looking for money, 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 money. If money is your only motivation, then it's going to be very easy for people to compromise you. Is basically what I'm saying. I'm not saying it happens all the time, but if you're doing things just for the money, then it's very easy to get compromised. But if you're someone that has values and you're willing to work, even just with a major salary or a major pay, just what's enough, basically, then it is much harder to compromise someone like that. Someone that's actually doing it because they love it. Like, I'm doing this for my country. You know, kind of like I want to do this to protect the homeland. I'm not doing this because I want money to, I mean, money is the means to an end, but like, why exactly are you doing what you're doing? You know, are you just doing it for the money? Are you doing it because you love it? Are you doing it because you want to impress people? Or are you actually doing it because you have something that you're trying to achieve? And yeah, this is kind of like the reason as to why, um, when you do something out of your heart, like when you do something out of your soul, like people can actually tell that, yeah, this person actually loves what they're doing, and we're willing to support them in what they're doing. So yeah, like was said in the videos, your words generally narrow our focus as they deal with routine-based left brain thinking. And as a leader, it is better to try and stimulate the minds of followers to believe in something and why it's being done and follow, as opposed to paying people to follow your vision. Just like MLK, the example that was given about MLK, I have a dream, not I have a plan. He didn't tell people that I have a plan to end discrimination and racism in America. He was like, I have a dream that one day my children will grow up in America and they will be treated like, human beings, no matter the color of their skin. So these are kind of things that resonate with everyone. Everybody wants to be treated equally. Everybody wants to be treated in a nice way, without being judged or preconceived notions. So these are just appeals that appeal to the human psyche. So that's why MLK was able to get all those people out there in DC. So the top 5 Gallup strengths I have are significance, futurism, individualization, focus, and maximization, which are essential qualities to help followers transition into the future while not forgetting about the past. And then being able to focus on the goal and maximizing whatever opportunity is given can help followers move into the right direction, and using them would definitely help in becoming an effective leader. So yeah, if you want your followers to go towards the right direction, you have to be open-minded and you have to be willing to help them develop, and that kind of like ties into the transformative leadership approach. So I basically think that's it for now, and yeah, another time.